Hi everyone, welcome back to my little stream where I'm going to show you something other than OBS. Today I'm going to work on the last jam game that we have submitted on Tuesday. Today is Saturday, and it ended up being called Sussy Synth Solo, which is a silly name for a silly game. And let me just show how it looks at the moment. The last time I streamed last weekend, I was also working on this game, but we had no name at this point. I mean, at that point. But now we do. And it might not be the final name for this game, but anyway, let me just show you how it looks. And only how it looks, because right now I have the background music running, so I'm not going to enable the sound on the game. So essentially, it's primarily a mobile game, and as you can see, you can match blocks that have the same color by starting to drag a selection. And also you can match by these little shapes or symbols that are on the blocks. So for example, right here we have these little dots, and this also works. So essentially this is it. There's a little health bar at the top. If it drains at a constant speed at the moment, and if it goes, then you are dead and you have to try again if you want. And by matching these little blocks, the health bar replenishes to an extent. If you manage to match blocks with multiple colors, so only using the symbols, you will get a bigger health bump, and you will also get a bigger score. That's mostly about it. And if you want to try this game, you can absolutely do that. The link is right on the video, and also you can ask the chatbot nicely, but I'm just going to do that right now. So I think this is the command. Yes, so you can find the game that I'm working on at the moment on this itch.io page, just like I opened it and showed it to you. And I will be pushing some updates today while I'm streaming, so you can essentially check the latest version. Yeah, this is about it. So we did submit the game on Tuesday, but there were a couple of things that we didn't manage to put in the final version, as we do. So I already made a little post-jam update for this game. It's build 18, the one that you can find on the itch.io page at the moment. So the score thing was actually missing from the game when we submitted it on Tuesday, but we added it on Wednesday. Also, the whole health replenishing mechanic was updated a little, so longer combos actually give you a bigger boost. So you are encouraged to make as long combos as you can. And also the whole elapsed time UI element was added, so you actually can track how much time you spent playing this game and wasting your life. And also the hitboxes on the blocks were increased a little bit, and the health drain is delayed for a bit when you're starting the level. These are just, tiny things. We added some tweens, some extra flair for the disappearing blocks, so they now show a little flash when they are removed and fade out. As I mentioned, the multicolor combos where you match blocks by not by color but by symbols, and they contain multiple colors, the selections, then you get a bigger health and score bump. This is about it. We try to balance the game. It's not horrible at the moment, I think. I mean, I played it a lot, so I can manage to play for, like, I don't know, 20 minutes or even 30 minutes sometimes. And yeah, I'm guessing that it's on the easier side if you really get in the flow. But this will definitely change, because we are still making some changes to the mechanics. And about that, and what's planned for today, so my good friend Flavius suggested that we should allow diagonal matching for the game, because right now you can only connect blocks that are right next to each other, so just neighboring blocks. They have to be either on the sides or at the top of the bottom of the current block. And I prototyped this yesterday in a couple minutes. Actually, it wasn't too bad to implement. So now we can allow diagonal matching. I can show you. because I think this version that I have opened actually allows this sort of thing. So for example, if I start here, I can just do something like this. Oops, I think the music is playing. Let me just mute that for a bit. I think I have these little volume stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to mute the game while I'm working on it, so you can enjoy the background music. And okay, so right now, if I start matching, for example, here, I can do this sort of thing because these are diagonals. Also stuff like this. However, this makes the game way too easy, I think. I mean, compared to the current public version. So I figured that we might need to put this into some sort of power-up or bonus system or something. So we don't allow diagonal matching all the time, but we do allow it for a limited amount of time. For example, if the player manages to make a number of combos or remove a number of blocks, then we can reward them by allowing some more flexible matching abilities, for example, this diagonal stuff. Also, we have another suggestion from Mize, who, if I understood it right, I'm not quite sure, I might ask her about this, but if I understood it right, she would prefer to have something like, let me just look for an example. So, okay, for example, if I start here and I start matching by symbol and not color, but from the last block is also, you know, this cyan colored, I could continue to this, for example. So essentially, the whole matching thing doesn't apply, or the matching constraints don't apply to the whole combination, the whole combo, just the last block, if I understood this correctly. So I think I want to prototype this thing as well. It might be a little tricky. I will have to look through the code that I made, which is, you know, still very much a gem quality code. So yeah, although I tried to add some comments and restructure it a little bit yesterday, but yeah, it's still not great. Okay, so yeah, the power-up system I already mentioned. This I also want to prototype today. And also I want to add a little extra check. So for example, if the player managed to make a lot of combos, the health bar replenishes, but also in the background this Sussy Synth Solo plays as well. If you try the game on your phone or your browser, you can essentially hear that there's a background loop, and as you match blocks and remove them, an extra melody is added on top of the background loop, which is, yeah, it's meant to be a little fun feature, but, and also it was the theme for the game, because the theme was game makes music, but we might actually remove this feature or maybe make it a hidden secret feature or something later, because it's just silly, the whole melody thing. So whatever. Right now, at the moment, you die if the health bar disappears, but I figured that we should also allow the game to continue if there are still notes playing, because you essentially cue these little melodies in front of each other, and the game plays them in sequence. And I figured that if the melody that you cued is still playing, you shouldn't die. So yeah, this is something that I think can be implemented pretty easily. And also we want to add some more fanfare per se, or juice. So when combos are removed, there's like messages that display. Maybe you are shown the points that you got for the combo that you removed, stuff like this. I may or may not want to visualize the play queue. This is something that I think I'm going to move to the bottom of the queue, to the bottom of the to-do list. And also the difficulty selection I want to add today, if possible. Essentially, at the minimum, I want to have like 2 or 3 different difficulties for the player, which just changes the health drain rate, essentially. So how much time you have to make another combo. This is it. So yeah, and also the menu screen is super primitive at the moment, so if I have some time and I don't find it super boring, I'm going to also enhance it a little bit with some more visuals. You know, it's just dark gray background color at the moment, it looks horrible. So yeah, this is it. So I am going to hydrate and get started. Right. So this whole diagonal selection thing, I already created a variable called power-up diagonal selection, which right now has the value 1 set at the moment. This is essentially a Boolean, but I don't like using Booleans in construct for reasons. So I just use number types and 0 and 1 as values. So right now, if I look for the references in the code, this is the part where the matching happens. Right? At first, the game tries to look for neighboring blocks during the selection, and if they, match using their positions and their color or symbol, then they are added to the selection. And this is the part that I added yesterday. So if this fails and the block is not a neighboring one, and by neighboring I mean it's not next to the block, then this diagonal selection is also considered. So if the block has not the same row, but a neighboring row and a neighboring column at the same time, this means that the block must be 1 block away, but diagonally. So this is the little check. And also then I check for the same secondary filter, which is by color or by symbol, and then I add it to the selection if it's successful. So before this happens, I also check for the variable power-up diagonal selection, and if it contains yes, which is just a macro, a global constant with the value of 1, then this whole shebang is done. So essentially, if I turn off the variable, if I can just change the value from 1 to 0, then diagonal selection is no longer allowed. So I can do this sort of thing. So I figured that if I come up with a good first implementation for the power-up, I can just change the value of this variable, and this will allow the diagonal selection or not allow it. Or maybe if I use a timer, I can turn it off at the end of the power-up's lifetime or something. So that is the plan. Right, okay, so the question is, do I want to start with this, or do I want to add some fanfare at first? I think I will want to do this. Yeah. Okay, so with Tibor, we talked about the feedback, which is not enough at the moment. So I am going to add some text feedback, I think right here at the moment, which will show some sort of message when you make a combo. You are shown how much, how many points you got for this combo, and possibly some encouraging words, something like that. So I am going to start with this for now. I'm going to remove these. Just hide these layers, and I think I am going to use a little text object. I have one right here, or I could even copy this one, for example, and put it right here. Okay, I use the same object family, or not family, object type for all text elements, and I use this little instance variable called role to distinguish between them. So for example, this one has the value score, this one has the value time, and this is the instance variable that I use for picking the right one when I want to update its contents. So I am going to come up with a name for this, a new role. Right, let me just generically call it message. And also I'm going to, just for good measure, change the default text, which will not show anyway because I'm going to update it. And this text stuff shouldn't even really show at all times. But I figured that this could be something that that is hidden by default, and a new message should appear from time to time, and then it should be hidden after a few seconds or something. Right, okay, I'm going to change its alignment to center. Ooh, 1 second, sorry. It was almost a sneeze, but not quite. Okay, so this I am going to create a new macro for as well, which then I will use for the picking. So it should be called message, and it should have the same initial value as the value that I put here. And I'm pretty sure that I want to create a generic function or custom action that I can call and just show any old message, so it will show up here. And I probably want to fade it out after a while, so I think I'm going to add the tween behavior on the UI text object type, and then I can do like opacity fades and stuff like this. Okay, I'm going to create a new custom action for using this object instance. So I'm going to create one called or just a UI, I think. And I might use this for other stuff as well, for example, the health bar later. I just need to look for an icon. Oh yeah, Windows is not helping me. I'm just going to, no, not this one. Okay, freaking emoji selector. I do like to use emojis because then I can find the tabs more easily because they have little icons. But one of the hardest part of doing this is actually deciding on which emoji to use. So, okay, I'm going to use this one. No, this doesn't show either. God damn it. And whatever. Okay, I'm not going to spend more time with that. Why are these not showing properly? This is sus. This is super weird. Okay, I'm going to choose one that actually shows up. Okay, this one, done. I'll change it later. Okay, so this AUI event sheet will actually just contain some custom actions. And for this one, I'm going to create a custom action called show message, which will pick the right instance of this UI text object, which was role message. And after this is picked, of course, I want to show a message. I want to make this stuff visible and then possibly tween it out after a while. So yeah, I'm going to need some parameters for this, of course. So I will actually need the text parameter, which will be the text that shows up in the message instance. And I will also need to have some sort of value for the fade out time. So it can be a parameter as well. Okay, so what I want to do is to change the text contents at first to the one that we got in the parameter. Then I want to stop the tweening of the object if it's even tweening. So this macro I can reuse. I probably already used this for the blocks, but this is totally fine for this purpose as well, because this is actually also an opacity and a fade out. So opacity tween and a fade out. So this is fine. And then I'm going to set the opacity to 100, which is the maximum amount. And then I'm going to start a tween, but only if the fade out time is not -1. So I can call this function a custom action with the fade out time of -1, which is a special case, which doesn't really make sense as a time amount anyway. So I am going to check if fade out time is not nothing. Nothing is also a global constant, a macro that I use, and it has the numeric value of -1. So if it's not -1, then I want to start the tween. I just want to tween one property, and it's this tag that I'm going to use. The opacity should be 0, and the time that it takes should be the fade out time, I guess. So like this. Although, now that I think about it, maybe this should work like more like a timer. So there's actually an amount of time that the opacity doesn't change and then it changes, it fades out. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to change this, possibly. So easings.net is going to come handy. Once again, it's a great site where you can check the typical easing curves and just choose one visually. And these are the same curves that are in Construct. So Easing Expo could work, I think, because it starts really slowly and then it ends up quite fast. So this I'm going to use at first and not a timer and a separate tween, and we'll see how it looks. If it looks like crap, then I'm going to rewrite it. So in Expo is the one that I'm going to use. I don't want to destroy the object. Okay. So if fade out time was -1, then the text will just stay there forever and it won't fade out. Guess that could work. So I just need to call this custom action when a match is made. Right. And where a match is made is probably somewhere here. More precisely. Okay. So this is the part where it checks after a selection has ended. So when your finger is removed from the screen or you stop pushing the mouse button. So it looks for blocks that were selected, and if it has enough of them, right now the minimum amount is 2. So if there are at least 2 blocks selected, then the whole block removal is started. So this is where I need to actually, yeah, this is where I calculate the score and also the health bonus. So I'm going to do some changes right here. Score amount and a separate health amount variables I'm going to declare right here. And instead of directly calling the add score and the change health functions with some calculated values, I'm going to actually set these variables to these amounts, and then at the end I'm going to call the add score and change health functions with these values, which might even be a little clearer anyway. So score amount, health amount, boom. Okay, so right here I'm just going to set the value of score amount to this and do exactly the same with the health amount variable. So I can remove these. This should work. Okay, and yeah, so this is where I check that the selection, if the selection contained more than one color, because if it did, then it also the value that you get for a combo, both the health and the score, is multiplied by a certain number, which is I think 2 or 3 at this time, both for the health and score values. So yeah, this is where I need to call this new custom action that we created called show message. So I'm just going to do that. It's a custom action for the text object type, and show message should be somewhere here. Okay, I'm not going to think too much about the whole text thing. I'm just going to put something that is understandable, hopefully. So I'm going to show the score amount, I think, and not the health. And let's just say that it should fade out after 1 second, something like that. And I'm just going to do the same thing here, but I only display the score amount. Okay, this is just for checking out if the new custom action works at all. And also if everything else works and I didn't break anything. So this was a little simple match. So this stuff shows up, but the value is wrong because it says 0, which is not great. But this is because I messed up the order. Okay, so now it should work better. Okay. I definitely want to round the value. And I'm going to do the rounding right here. So it's actually a precise amount, whoops, that I display, and not just something that is rounded off for displaying, but is actually not the correct amount. So, okay. Okay. I think I want to add a little extra word that says actually points. Not perfect, but as a first implementation, I think this could work. So let's check it out again. By the way, I want to hide the text object by default, because right now it shows this little placeholder stuff. So I'm just going to untick initially visible. And also, I'm not sure if I actually changed the visibility. I don't think I did. Yeah, I should definitely do that. So before doing the whole changing the text and or just the fade out, I'm going to make sure that the text object is actually visible. Because visibility and opacity are two different things. Something can be visible but have 0 opacity, so it still doesn't show. But if you change the opacity to 100 and make it invisible, then it will still not show. So these are different dimensions of visibility-ness. No, that's not a word I know, but yeah. Okay, so this could, whoops, work, I think. I pressed the wrong button, never mind. Skip the track, but this is fine as well. Okay, so this is all right, I think. For now, anyway. It's better than nothing, definitely, because right now the player had 0 idea, essentially, unless they wanted to do some quick maths, how much points they got for a certain combo. So if you remove 2 blocks, that's 14 points. That's always 14 points, unless you do something like this, because then it's 43. It's actually a big difference. And this difference is also reflected in the health bonus that you get. Now, I'm not so sure if I should display the health bonus as well, but I don't think I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to stick with the score display. But the player actually has the same multiplier, I think, for the health and the score if they make a multicolor match. Let me just check the constant, the relevant one. Okay, so for making a multicolor combo, you get a multiplier of 3 for both the health and the score. So yeah, it's the same. I just wanted to communicate for the player that making multicolor combos is actually quite important, if you, especially if you are low on health. You should definitely try to make multicolor stuff like this. Okay, so I think I'm going to check this one for now. I mean, I know it's not too much fanfare, but it's a first implementation, it does its thing. It communicates how many points you get for a certain combo. So how many or how much? I'm not so sure. Never mind. But yeah, okay. So this I'm going to check. And also, I am going to make a little change log. Oof. I can't do this right now. For some reason, I have no idea how to properly turn that into a sentence. I'll just do it after the stream. So I'm going to make the change logs later. So yeah. Right. Difficulty selection, or should I check this continuity stuff? Maybe I'm going to do that. Hey Flavius, hey Tani, how are you guys? What's up? I need this Discord server to let people know when I'm live. You are absolutely correct, Flavius. I was thinking about this today. So yeah, I'm going to definitely set that up soon. Good thing my antenna got the reception every freaking time you are here, which is great. How are you guys? How are you, Johnny? What is up? Are you working on something, possibly? Or is it a chill Saturday afternoon? Or maybe not an afternoon for you, because you are quite a bit away, I think. Okay, so where was I? I'm going to remove these disabled actions and the comments as well. And for good measure, I'm already going to make a new build, so you guys can check out the latest change as well. Just got back from the gym, super tired. Leg day, right? In there, need of a shower. Go for it, Tani. I'll be lurking and back later. Have a nice lurk, have a good shower, and if you have the time and feel the need, then feel free to come back anytime. So I have no idea if I actually exported this stuff or I just started to do that, so I'm going to export it again. Okay. And also I am going to run the little script that does stuff. Okay, so the new version should be up on itch in a couple of seconds, hopefully, if I didn't screw anything up. All right, it's loading. Okay, so let's check it out. Build 19 is the correct one. And in this version, I am allowing the diagonal selection for now, but this will probably be changed a little bit, as I already mentioned. I want to turn it into a power-up or something. So yeah, Flavius, your suggestion is live on itch as well at this point. It's a great one, but it does make stuff a lot easier, I think. But also a lot more satisfying, so I kind of like it. I just don't want the player to use it all the time, because then I will have to, you know, ramp up the difficulty so it's not too boring. Okay, it works all right. The points are displayed, so when you make a selection and remove some blocks, you get a little feedback how many points you got for that combo. And making multicolor stuff like this gives a huge bonus. It's a multiplier of 3, both for the score and the health. So yeah. Flavius also said, I'm good, did some pixel fan art for this morning for a streamer, gamed a bit and now a small rest before going back deving or pixel art. This is super cool. This is nice. Is this the streamer that you mentioned last time who you were going to do the stream avatars stuff, or this is completely different stuff? Wow, these are big freaking combos. Check these out. 400 point stuff. Okay, right, okay. I am going to get back to this. I'm going to make a new version, and look for a new to-do item to crunch. So that's how I usually do it. Just save the project as a new file, change the version number, and boom. And every couple of days, if I make a lot of new versions, I turn those into a GitHub commit. I mean git commit, and then push it on GitHub in a private repo for all projects. I have a little script that does this automatically. Right. Okay, so let's look for a new to-do item. You can add more colors after a number of points to have the difficulty increase. Absolutely, or maybe more symbols or something. That definitely is a way to do it. Yeah, the same guy. Neat. That's really cool. I kind of want to explore the stuff that was suggested by Mice, the essentially switching the color shape matching thing while doing the selection. I just need to have a little think through how I want to do it and how it could fit in the existing code. I can share the art if you absolutely go for it. You can send me the stuff on Discord, I think. Although maybe you can probably make like a link in chat as well, but Discord is fine as well. So however you prefer. Okay. I'm going to look for the part that is relevant meanwhile. So on selection end is too late. So essentially I need to change this part, the while selection custom action. And right now I have these two global variables, not the prettiest solution. Selection match by color, that's a tongue twister if I ever saw one, and selection match by symbol. And both are set to 0 by default, but this doesn't really matter. So how right now the game works is that when the on selection start custom action is called with a certain block instance, then I actually call the reset and add block custom actions of the selection array. So let's just look through this. So reset doesn't really change much. It has the selection array reset, and by the reset I mean that all values in the array are removed. So I store the instance IDs, the unique instance IDs in the array with valid blocks. And add block is just something that I call that adds a new item in that array, which is the blocks UID. And in both instances, I call the onChanged custom action of the selection array, which does the whole visual feedback stuff, and also it does the updating of the selection match by color and symbol variables. Ooh, neat. Let me check the links, Flavius. This one from a week ago. Whoa, this is freaking awesome. That's super neat. Dude, by the way, feel free to link the channel as well. I think I might want to follow them. Dude, these are freaking awesome. Did you get like photos and you use them as a base, or did you just draw these freehand? Because they are freaking awesome. I love it. That's really cool. Are they going to use it for like some Twitch branding, covers, panels, stuff like this? What's the plan? Super cool. And finished this one yesterday for another streamer. That's nice as well. I'm guessing he's a DJ. That's really cool too. Very nice, Flavius. You have made such tremendous progress with your pixel art. It's insane, actually. I wish I had the skills, but I really don't. I should just stick with programming, I think. Tibor is so much better at this than me, so. Right, okay. I'm going to look through this stuff in a minute. I don't know what they want to do with them, but I'm very happy that they like them. I'm pretty sure that's always so freaking good when someone likes the stuff that you make. I love getting feedback as well. Positive and negative as well, because the negative one can also be useful to a certain extent anyway. Okay. Okay, so I use some local variables to store the color and the symbol of the latest block. And then I go through all elements of the array. And this is where I actually check that each instance has the same color and the same symbol. And if even just one instance does not have the same color value, then I set the selection match by color variable to 0, which is shorthand. I mean, no is the shorthand for 0, so these are essentially true-false stuff, but I don't like using booleans, as I mentioned. And this is the same for the matching symbol stuff. So I go through the selection array, and if even just one block has a different color or different symbol, I set these. And this is not something that I actually want in this case, but it's very similar to what I want, because if I understand correctly, what I want to do is to actually compare the last two elements instead of all elements. Okay, let me just prototype this super quickly and in a dirty manner, but yeah. Right, okay, I'm going to add a new sub event right here, and it should be very similar to the current one. I just need to check the last two elements of the selection array. Right. Okay, I need to compare two instances, two block instances, color and symbol values. So I need to do something like this, but I'm going to replace, oops, the block with the block family. And also I'm going to do the same thing for the symbol, because there's a symbol family as well. So this means that I can have two instances picked, although I might not need to do that unless I want to do this sub event thing. The man and woman are from Miedman Nerd. He's a cool guy, and she's an AI companion. And the DJ is DJ Sir Lex, a very cool, chill DJ. Has a ton of vinyls, I guess. That's awesome. I'm going to give both a follow, because we have kind of the similar taste in streamers, Flavius. I think I can say that. Cool. Thanks for the suggestions. Okay. I'm going to change this stuff. little. So instead of using selection.front, I think I'm going to use selection dot, and I want to actually look for the penultimate one, which should be I think using this at method, I can give an index, but I'm not sure if I can do something like -1, so it's the last one, and -2 is the penultimate one. I'm gonna check the docs, but if I can do that, this is fine as well. Just for curiosity's sake, I'm going to check this. So under plugin reference in the official construct docs, I can find array. And let me just search for negative. No, it doesn't come up with anything. And if I do something like at, reading values outside the array returns the number 0. This is fine. This is totally fine for me, because I think it's fine. I mean, I store unique IDs, unique instance IDs, which are globally unique. And I don't think I'm going to encounter a situation where I actually have a block that has the 0 UID. So this shouldn't be a problem. So selection at, and I'm going to say selection dot not length width, which is the length on the first dimension of the array, which is the only dimension I'm actually using. So selection width -2, I'm guessing, could be the one. And this should return the penultimate value in the array. So this just selects a different instance of the block. And for this block, I also select the symbol. So what I need to do right here is to set these variables accordingly, according to something like this. So instead of color and symbol, I am going to make the comparison using, oh no, this is fine, I guess. Or is it? No, this is the first block. So this is the last item in the selection. And for this, I store the color and the symbol in these local variables. So when I pick the penultimate block, I just need to compare compare them like this. So if they have a different color, then I'm going to set the match by color to no. And if they have a different symbol, I'm going to set the selection match by symbol variable to no. This could work, I think. And for now, I'm going to disable these. So yeah. This could work, I think, unless I made a mistake. Let me just check. So for example, if I start the selection here and move right here, I can not select this one, but I can select this one because the last block was also red. So this works fine, I think. And then because this is a 3, although it's a red one, I can continue right here. And then I can, oh, I cannot continue here, but I should be able to do that, I think. Okay. Let's check it again. So if I do something like this, this is fine. These are all the same symbols, but I can't continue over here. Okay, so this is not correct at the moment. Malta stream early for us, late for him, but I'm sure if you catch a stream, you'll like it there. And Lex has a stream today at 6 p.m. for us. He's only streamed 1 hour, but 1 hour of cool music. What sort of music he usually, or if it's the same genre anyway, every time. I did watch a bit of Vio, DJ Violet, in the morning today. I freaking love her. She's super cool, and she plays happy hardcore and stuff like this. It's the perfect music to begin the day. High energy stuff. And I did see Mr. Zombie in the chat for some reason, which was fun. I had zero idea that he's into this sort of thing anyway. Okay, so let me just think this through. So this is where the selection does not happen. I think I'm going to add some debug messages so I know what the frick is going on. Because I can't spot the issue right here. Or I can just use the debugger, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to go to the global variables. I have quite a few. So selection match by color is 0 and 0 right here. If I start the game, these are still 0, but if I start the selection, they are actually both have the value 1. And if I move right here, they still have the value 1, which is fine. I'm just going to look for something else. So if I move right here, the symbol is actually different, but it did not correctly change. So right here, the selection by, oh no, sorry. Selection by symbol should be 0, I think, because they are not the same symbol. But if I move right here, it actually turns into 0, which is the correct procedure. Oh yeah, temporarily I'm going to change the health to something that is way higher, because then I don't have to hurry. Or maybe I could just disable the health drain. Let me just do that. So health drain interval and health drain amount. So I'm going to add a little to do command to do prod set back to 1.1, and for now I'm going to change this to 0, so the health doesn't actually drain. You were there as well? Really? That's cool. We are everywhere at always at the same time. Yeah, Bio is great. Lex depends on the day, sometimes upbeat, sometimes chill, depends more on the vinyls he picks. That's super cool. I'm gonna check his stream out then today. So, okay, what was I doing? Okay, so if I start a match, oh yeah, I forgot the debugger. Let's just start that one. So debug project, and under system, I'm going to check the values of these global variables, these two. What the frick is this? I don't remember. Okay, never mind. So yeah, these are matches by color, but the matches by symbol is also 1 at this point. But if I move right here, then it sets the correct value, which is 0, just not at the right time. Right. So this is correct because it's the same color and the same symbol. And if I move right here, it's at this point not correct because it's not the same color. And if I move right here, then it's all right. So it's still a symbol-based match, but then I should be able to move right here because the last colors match. So I probably screwed up something. It's probably a off by 1 error or something. I usually do quite a lot of those mistakes. So where was I? I need to go back to the selection stuff. Why can't I find it? Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay. Also, I'm going to put a little bookmark here and turn on the bookmarks bar so I can find stuff more easily. Boom. So if I just double click right here, I can jump to a bookmark. I'm going to add some debug logging stuff. So last block UID, block.uid, and right here I'm going to say penultimate block UID. So let's just see if these values are actually correct or not. So if I start the selection, the last block UID is 203. If I move right here, no, this is a bad example. So, okay, I start the selection here, it's 189. If I move here, it's 189 and also 189. So something is definitely off. It is the same UID. So if I move right here, it's 189 and 171. Okay. So yeah, this situation is not great because I am picking the same block twice. But why? Because if I have an array with the width of 2, this means that there are 2 instances in it. I mean 2 values in it. So the ID should be 0, I think, and the width is 2, so 2 minus 2 is 0. I would say that this is correct. Let me just check the docs. Retrieve a value at a position in the array, and this is R0 based, so yeah. Reading values out to the blah blah. Okay, that doesn't matter. So it's a bit weird. I wonder if it's a different kind of issue. Let me just, for good measure, replace these with these. But I don't think, since this is not a sub-event of this, the picking shouldn't be affected here. I mean, by these pickings. So, I will there because I want to send him the pixel art. Oh, he hasn't seen it yet. He's gonna love it, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let me just open up the console. So I start the selection right here, move here, and it's still the same freaking UID. Now it's a different one, but yeah. Why is it the same? Because the selection is already updated at this point. Because this is called right here. So after a block is added to the selection. And it's clearly in the selection because this is where I actually update the animation of the block to the selected version, which has the little light border. And this is showing up correctly. Okay, so if there are 2 blocks in the selection, this means the selection array's width should be 2. And to get the first one, I need the 0 index value. So I would guess that this works all right, but it doesn't. What the freak am I missing here? You see a part of it, not the entire thing. Nice. Okay, for additional debugging purposes, I'm going to log the entire contents of the selection array. So if there's something sussy, then we can see it. So I'm going to log selection.asJSON every time the selection is updated. Okay, so it contains only one value. I mean, yeah, first the selection shows right here. This is where I empty the array, and then I add the first block right here. So last block UID is 131, which is fine. And if I move right here, yeah, the UIDs are definitely different. One is 131 and the other one is 113. Great example. Okay, so this is something that is a bit more easy to distinguish. However, the penultimate block UID is still picked incorrectly. Why is that? Am I stupid? Of course I am, but how I do not, why I do not pick the correct one is, I'm not so sure. But so it should be -3. No, this is definitely not it. This is freaking weird. I am definitely missing something. Okay, so now it seems to be working fine, but this is freaking weird. So selection front. Oh crap, I'm stupid. I know. Yeah, okay, I know. So this is front and not back. I'm picking the first one right here instead of the last one. Okay. So yeah, I completely missed this stuff. Okay, so instead of picking the first one, I need to pick the last one, which is, I'm guessing, selection back, yeah, and compare this together with the penultimate one. Okay, so this is going to stay here because this is needed for the old version. So I'm going to copy this stuff right here and say selection dot back. So I actually have a block instance picked and a block family instance picked as well, and I can just make the comparison directly. I don't even need these little local variables at this point. So or I could probably, yeah, override them like this, but yeah, should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to move this right here, but I don't need it anymore, probably. Okay, let's check it out. So if I start a selection by symbol, this is fine. Not a great example. Let me look for another one. So, okay, for example, this is correct. Different symbol, same color, but I can now move to this one. Different color, but same symbol as the last one. Okay, this works, I think. Now the question is, will the player understand this sort of thing as a power-up? But I'm pretty sure that they will, so... Okay, this is nice. Okay, so same symbol, but now I am making a color change. I mean a color match, but now I'm making a symbol match, so it's only looking at the last one. God damn, I can make some big freaking combos like this. Jesus. Okay. That's nice. So I guess this is working fine. Now I just need to make sure that this is actually something that I can turn on and off, just like I did with the diagonal selection. So, okay. So this part I didn't change at all, except this part. Okay. I'm gonna give it a little overview and decide how to do it so it's not terrible. Okay, so essentially, this stuff I can allow and do right here. So essentially, this is the part that was the original one. And if this extra matching power-up stuff is turned on, then I can make a new then I can just reset the values of these to yes again and do this whole shebang, I think. It's not the clearest way to do it, I think, but that's fine for now, I think. So I'm going to create a different global variable, power up, how I name it, how do I name it? So, match last only selection. This is horrible, but yeah, this will do for now. So this should be enabled for testing purposes right now. And let's go back to the bookmark. So, okay. If this variable, what was it called? Power up something. Yeah. If this is yes, then I'm going to check this sort of thing. And I need to set these to yes at first, and they might change to no later. Okay. Damn, I really can't form proper English sentences today. This is fine. I'm going to rewrite this later. So, hey Granger, what is up? How are you doing? How is your Saturday? Doing great, good to hear. So you are at 100% health, I'm guessing, hopefully. A bunch of my friends got sick in the last couple of weeks, and I'm freaking counting back the days until I fall ill as well, because there's something definitely going on. I just hope that I can use my special procrastination skills to delay the inevitable. Okay, so these are normal matches, but this is something that I just allowed right here. No, this is not a great example because it's the same color. So, okay, let's just start here and move right here. No, this is not working, for example. Okay. Please hold. Okay, so this is enabled, which is good. And yet, this is not working correctly at the moment. Yeah, it's been going around, definitely. When did I start streaming? I actually started streaming a year ago or something, but I rarely stream. So, yeah. Back then, it was like every couple of weeks, and I think, had a fairly regular schedule, but only something like, every couple of weeks. Up until May or maybe June, I'm not so sure. And the summer, just, I had other stuff to do, so I didn't really have time. I didn't really have the inspiration. I was kind of swamped, so I figured that I should probably get back to streaming. And I started like a week ago. I mean, I restarted a week ago, so I'm trying to maintain a schedule now and stream every week. And I'm still not so sure if it's going to be weekends, but right now it looks that this might actually work out for me, because usually my weekends are pretty much for chilling, and streaming is chilling to a certain extent anyway. So, but yeah, I'm not so sure if I can maintain it, but hopefully I will be able to. So I just want to continue streaming a bunch of game jam development, which is usually what I do. This is a post-jam update which I'm working on at the moment. I'm not so sure if you saw the game. I think I posted it in the Two Nerdy Nerds Discord. It's a classic match something mobile game. So you make big combos by matching blocks with the same color or the same symbol. And right now I am working on a suggestion by, whoops, my headphone's gone. So I'm working on a suggestion by Mize, because right now you can mix the colors together, but you can't continue, for example, let me just, like here, because you are matching by symbols all the way through and not by, and the selection is checked every time you make a new block. Okay, this wasn't a sentence. Let me try again. So right now, Mai suggested that the selection must be a little more lenient. So for example, if I end up right here, I could move to this block because it has the same color as the last one, and not take into account the whole selection, just the last block. So this is what I'm working on, and it's not working correctly at the moment. I mean, it worked correctly before, but I rewrote some stuff and now it's gone, which is not great. Also, I'm gonna check chat. I heart funny boys, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. Good to see you. Started so I could make myself be accountable for getting work done on my indie project. Yeah, that sounds familiar, pretty much. Since the goal is to be a full-time indie dev. I'm not so sure if that's my goal, but it's something that I'm considering as well. What engine? Well, I heard this is Construct 3, which is not the most popular choice around here, but this is my go-to engine, and basically the only engine that I'm working in. It's mostly aimed at beginners, and as you can see, you don't really write code, although you could, but I don't. It has this event-driven programming interface, if you can, I mean, I guess I can say that. So you just make a bunch of conditions, and if the conditions are met, then a bunch of actions on the right will run. And it's, as I mentioned, it's pretty much a beginner-friendly stuff, so there's a proper editor for making the layouts, the UI, the levels, and stuff like this. And if someone is feeling that these event-driven programming stuff is too I don't know, too simple, or maybe not very intuitive for them, there is also an option to interface with the engine using JavaScript or TypeScript. So yeah, I don't really do that. Only at times if I have to like use a third-party external JavaScript library to do something cool. But otherwise, I'm just using the event system for this whole thing. Let me check chat again. Yep, it's all construct. Every time I make a game, it's in construct. Never seen this engine before. It is very cool. Some people don't like it because it's not a free engine. It's a proprietary one, and you also have to pay for it because the free version, although it exists, it's super limited. So it's only for, you know, really kicking the tires and trying the whole thing out. So you can find out if it's even something that you find intuitive or not. But then you have to pay a monthly or yearly fee to use the engine. So, and it's quite fairly priced, I think. But you know, beginners don't really like starting right away with an engine that is paid. So it's a bit of a sticky situation for Construct. Although they do make a bunch of money, I think, from educational clients like schools and stuff, because since it's really user friendly, it's a good first choice for students, I think. I also used to teach some game dev classes from time to time, and I always use Construct, and I found that the kids really find it easy to work in because it's quite visual. You don't really have to type that much, so it's a good choice for them, I think. It's a bit easier to use than Game Maker Studio, I think, but it's roughly the same capabilities. So it's essentially only 2D or maybe 2.5D, but the 3D features, which are really limited, they are not really meant to, you know, do proper 3D games anyway. They are more of a gimmick, I would say. Okay, so yeah, I'm still working on this to-do item, by the way, and I'm just going to look for some bugs because there are definitely some bugs at the moment. Yeah, I totally agree about this, and yeah, but the problem is that the free version is so freaking limited that it's not really an indication of how the full version might work out for someone. For example, there are layers that you can use and turn on off, just like in, you know, Photoshop, or I'm guessing Godot as well. But the free version only allows 2 layers, which is, you know, a little bit limiting. Essentially, you are not able to make a proper game with parallax background and a UI as well, because you are just out of layers. You can use trickery, but the other problem is that the amount of events that you are allowed in the free version is also super limited to like 50 or something. So yeah. Okay, so where was I? I am working on this selection stuff, and this is Sussy. So let me just turn off this part. No, sorry. I have to move this part right here. And turn off these. If I'm correct. No, these. Okay. So I restore the previous, hopefully working state of the game. Okay, so I'm matching by color, but then I can do a match right here because it's the same symbol as the last one. And then I can switch again. Okay, so this works correctly. I just need to figure out a way to make it readable as well as working. Okay. Okay. Or maybe I should just do the whole thing like branched out, depending on the value of this variable. So this variable is essentially the one that decides whether I should allow this more lenient selection of blocks by only comparing the last two. So I guess I could do something like this or else. So the lenient version I put here, which is this one. And the other one I just put right here. However, this selection stuff I also need to run after this. So I'm gonna separate this. And if it works, then I will try my best to explain what's happening. Okay, so for each element, okay, this is just looking through the whole thing and applying the selected animation, and also setting the value is selected to yes. But this part I don't need anymore. And in this case, I don't need this part. Sorry for not checking chat all the time. I get easily distracted by programming. It's essentially an opposite beaks situation, I think. So, oh, I heard you have a Discord. I'm going to check that as well after the stream, because I feel like I'm missing your streams anyway, because I don't have any notifications set up. But I'm guessing that you are announcing your streams there, so hopefully I will make the next one. When is it, by the way? Do you have a stream planned at this moment? Also, Granger, this question applies to you too. Yeah, it was super hard in the beginning for me as well, and it's still super hard because I'm essentially back in the beginning, because I had like 3 months of no streams, and I'm just getting back to it. Okay, let me check if this stuff is working at all. Okay, so this is correct. This is also correct, or I could move right here. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. This is a switch. This is another switch. Okay, so this is working at the moment. Now, what if I turn the variable off? So now the whole selection has to have the same color or the same symbol for the selection to continue with the new block. So, okay, this is now not working, which is good. But you can still do the diagonal selections because that is turned off, turned on, I mean. So, okay, this looks all right, I think. Good. So I can't move right here, because even though it's the same symbol as the last one, the power up is turned off. And if I turn it on again, I can do something like moving here and then here and then here. Okay, cool. One down, a bunch to go. So Mize's suggestion is now implemented, as well as Flavius's suggestion. However, these are right now not accessible by default. So the default version should be this and this. So diagonal selections are not allowed, and this more lenient only match the last symbol or only match the last color selection rule is also disabled. What I need to do right now is to implement a basic power-up system. So the player actually has the option to turn these off for a limited amount of time or something, and then go and remove a bunch of blocks while the time is while the timer is still running. Okay, so for now I'm going to allow both of these so you guys can test it out if you feel like it. I'm going to push a new version to the each page. Next one is in like 4.5 hours. Okay, so that means that probably around the time that the nerds will end their stream, I'm guessing, although I have no idea how long they plan to stream today. Feel free to lurk, and thanks for dropping by, iHeart. It's much appreciated. Granger says, not today. I have birthday today. No way. Happy birthday, Granger. All the best. And family will be invading me today to the celebration thing, as they should. Nice. I will be streaming tomorrow though. Then I will probably pop in tomorrow. And happy birthday again. Many happy returns, or whatever they say. I don't know. I'm not a native speaker. I'm bad at this stuff, so yeah. Okay, did I make the new version? I did not. Let me just push export to the web. Construct will pack up the whole thing in a zip file. I'm going to override the previous version, and I'm going to run a little script, which just essentially a single line script at this point, which calls the Butler CLI, which is the official itch tool that pushes stuff on the itch servers. So if I go back here and refresh the page, I can see that the game has been updated. And if you guys want to try this new version out, which has the super lenient matching rules at the moment, because you can go diagonally, and also you only need to match the last symbol or the last color to make a match. So you can probably do super long matches, which is not something that I want to allow for the player to do all the time. But once the power-up system is done, then it will be allowed from time to time. So yeah, you can do stuff like this. This is freaking crazy. Yeah, so you go by color, and at this point I want to change to go by symbol, so it's the same symbol, and yeah, this is freaking horrendous and awesome at the same time, and I'm still doing the selection. Okay, so this is where I end, I guess. 4,831 or something points for one freaking combo. Okay, this is cool. Also, I forgot to turn back the health drain, so I'm just going to do that and make a little extra build. So the drain amount was originally 1.1 per every 10th of a second, so I'm just going to bump up the version number by applying a little letter B at the end and make another export. So it's not completely infinitely easy to play, although these monster combos will probably keep the health bar very close to the top all the time. Anyway, but at least there is a health drain. Okay. Ooh, thanks Flavius, by the way, for doing the mod thing, and it was a really good idea to shout out Granger. Thanks. Yeah, Granger is also doing game development. Fancy that. Yeah. So he's working on, I'm pretty sure, a game in Unity that is multiplayer and 3D and open world, and it's freaking awesome. So let me just check if the latest version is up. Should be 20B. It is. Okay, so the health drain should be back. Good. And I can make the crazy diagonal and color switching and symbol switching matches at this point. Right, okay. Okay, it works fine. So I really need to come up with the power-up system. If anyone has any suggestions, I'm open. But right now, the first version, I figured that it should be something like I should keep a little counter that counts how many blocks have you removed, and there should be like milestones or something. So for, I don't know, if you remove 100 blocks in however many combos, then you will get a power-up or something. And the question is that should I instantly activate this power-up, or should I give it to the player, have a little inventory stuff or something, and allow them to actually enable the power-up when they want to? But I'm guessing the first implementation should be the simpler one, so there's at least something, which is the immediately enabled or activated power-up. So yeah, I think if no one has a better idea, then I'm going to implement that, but feel free to add any suggestions. I can see power-ups being in the grid, and if you match to it, you get it. Yeah, this is also something we could do. So have like a special visual for some blocks that are actually power-ups, and you have to remove them to activate the power-up. I like it. Question is how it should look, and the other question is, should I make the art? Because usually I don't do that. My good friend Tibor does all the art, and he did the art for this game as well. But I can do some programmer art which looks horrible, and Tibor will replace it at one point. So yeah, question is how should the block look? Because something that could be a good placeholder is some of the art that we didn't use at the end. If I can find it, yeah, I will be able to find it, but I have to go to a different folder. So let me just open a new file explorer. So it's Dropbox shared laser magnet games, and then it's not this one, I think this one, yeah. So Tibor actually drew a bunch of block graphics, and at first in the version that we had like a week ago or something, each color had a different shape as well, but then we found that it was too distracting, and we just went with all squares, or these little rounded squares. But I guess that we can do something like signifying the power-ups right now by using a different shape, possibly. This is how Candy Crush does it, I think. Okay, so now that you mention it, Candy Crush, I've never played Candy Crush, which might be a problem right now, especially because Flavius told me that we should do something completely different in terms of the power-up stuff as Candy Crush does, because for some reason he doesn't like that. But yeah, I don't know. For a first implementation, we can, I think, definitely do this special block stuff, because why not? I would think the power-up ones have an aura or a shiny gold, maybe. Or are shiny gold, sorry, I can't read. More animated, possibly. By animated, you mean like add a little, how the nerds say it, squunch, or some shaky tween stuff maybe on them? I haven't played it either. Yeah, it's something that a lot of people play, but I, for some reason, never had the, I don't know, interest to check it out, because I don't know, it's too popular, too mainstream or something. Make them throb. This is a great word. Okay, so right, okay, I'm just going to do that. So I'm not going to import the old graphics at this point, and I think I will add a particle emitter, possibly, behind the blocks, and then we can check how it looks, and I will turn this on, and maybe the particles should signify the type of power-up that they give the player if they are removed. Okay, let me just add a little particle system. I'm going to create a good old 1x1 pixel white stuff, art, graphics, done. So in construct, you can do particles pretty easily, although it's a little limited, but for our purpose, I think this is going to cut it. So I'm just going to turn on the preview, which is once again something that you can't do in the free version. The free version doesn't allow particle emitter previews, because I don't know why, never mind. I'm going to set the spray cone to 360 degrees, so it's going all over the place, and the rate is 50 by I mean 50 per each second, I am going to reduce the size of these particles to something like 8 and possibly add some randomization, so it's between 8 and 16 for each particle. I'm going to move this to the bottom of the layer and set its position. Okay, I thought I saw something sussy, but no, I didn't. So I set the particle emitter's position to the same as the block, so it should look something like this. Yeah. I could probably spend a bunch of time by tweaking the values, but for now I think this is mostly alright. Maybe the particles are going a little too far, so I'm going to say they should fade out sooner. And also, I think I'm going to add some angle randomization. Yeah, this looks good. And maybe turn up the rate to something like 100. Okay. Particle effect shimmering. What do you mean by that? I mean, shimmer on the block itself, so the graphics are, I don't know, had some kind of color effect or something. Then I could probably do, although I am using the color overlay for the blocks as well, but we can deviate from that, I think, somehow. Or maybe add a different, a separate object that actually creates this little shimmering effect by overlaying the existing block, and I'm just changing the opacity of it or something. Yeah. For first try, I think the particle emitter is probably good. Although, now that I think about it, it might not cut it because the blocks are actually quite densely packed, so to speak. So there's no padding between the blocks. Okay, let me just check it and see how it looks at the moment. So if I add the particle emitter object to the hierarchy of the original block, let me just do that. Then essentially each block will have this little particle effect, which is a lot, and it doesn't look good, but actually I just wanted to see if it works. So yeah, maybe the particles should not be behind the block, but in front of it. And I'm going to further reduce the time that they are allowed to appear. Okay, I'm also going to reduce the speed, I think, and make a change to the acceleration as well. Okay, so it looks like this at the moment. Yeah, I'll have to play with that, I think, for a while. But for now, I'm going to say this is all right. Let me just check if the rate looks better if it's doubled. Oops. No, no. Okay. Yeah, not great, but yeah. I don't like the fact that it's overlapping the symbols, so I think I'm going to bring the Z order of the symbols up a bit. So the particle effect is behind the symbol but in front of the block. I think this is, you know, it doesn't look great, but it's significant enough to signify a power up. So for the moment, I'm going to say this is all right. Also, I'm going to check chat because you might have added a better idea. Squanch is definitely more wholesome than throb, definitely. I feel throb is more accurate, yeah. It was all squanch. Well, the question is, are all throbs squanches, or... Okay, I'm not going to get into that topic, not at the moment anyway. By shimmer, I just mean little particles that make diamonds or starbursts appear on top of it. Yeah, so essentially the particle emitter, but not with these ugly pixels, I guess, but actually some good looking symbols. Yeah, this could work. I'm going to consult with Tibor, who also does the art for all the games I'm making usually, and I'm going to ask if he wants to draw a bunch of little particles for this effect. However, right now I'm going to, I'm going to use this particle object to mark certain blocks. So I really don't want all the blocks to spawn a separate particle emitter, so I'm just going to remove this from the hierarchy. And every time a block is spawned, there should be a small chance that this block will actually be a power-up. Now the question is, do I just want a global random chance to happen, or should I do something like for every, I don't know, 100 blocks that are spawned? Yeah, this could work better. So the chance that power-ups spawn are actually a bit more consistent instead of just being random. Okay, so for every something blocks, I'm going to spawn a power-up, I think, for now, for the first implementation. So for this, I'm going to create a rule, which I usually put in these, put in this event sheet, which has a bunch of constants. Although it probably shouldn't be a constant in the long run, but I can just change this whenever. So under blocks, I'm going to create a new constant, a rule, so to speak, which has the name power up spawn, not chance, but interval. Interval implies something to do with time, but this is more like a quantity thing, so power up spawn frequency I'm going to go with. So this is for every n block spawns, and I'm going to set it to, for now I'm going to set it to 10, and I'm going to make it constant for now. But this could also be a proper variable later, so something can affect the frequency that power-ups spawn at. Okay, so if I set it to 10, I'm going to have a bunch of power-ups in the beginning anyway, so this should be good for testing, and then I will increase the value later. So yes, I need to look up the part that oh, it's right here. So every time a block is spawned, there's an event sheet called eCreated, and this contains all the onCreated events, and for each block I call this little init function or custom action in construct terms, and this just means that this part is run. And this is where I also make the randomization of the colors and the symbols on the blocks. So this should be the place where I also turn the blocks into power-ups. Okay, so I need to make some sort of counter, I think. Now the question is, will I have some sussiness due to the fact that blocks are spawned by bulk in the beginning, and then they are spawned dynamically later? Okay, so I'm going to set a new, create a new variable which just contains the number of blocks that are spawned while the game is running. So this is okay. This is more of a level state thing. So I'm going to say blocks spawned, and it starts at 0, of course. And every time a block is created, or more like initialized, I'm going to add 1 to this variable. So I'm going to say add blocks spawned and 1. And I'm going to check if the block spawned variable contains a number that is divisible, I don't know how to pronounce it, by this number. So I need to do compare two values right here and say blocks spawned, and this is the what's it called? You guys probably know it. This is for determining the remainder after a division. Yeah. So block spawned, and I need to. What was the name of the variable? I am scatterbrained. Something frequency. Yeah, there it is. Power up spawn frequency. Okay. So if it is equal to 0, this means that we need to turn this block into a power up. And right now I'm just going to do something like creating an instance of the particle emitter. Actually, I can do something like block spawn another instance or spawn another object and say particles. It should be on the same layer as the block, which is the main layer, and I'm also going to create in the origin, so it's right in the middle. And after that, I'm also going to need to pick the children and the symbol object, which I already do right here. So right here, I'm just going to make sure that the symbol is on top of the particle emitter that I created. So doing something like symbol, whoops, not this symbol, not the family, but the actual object type. I'm going to say move to top. So this could probably work. Checking chat, please hold. Multicolored block. Ooh, this is also an interesting idea. Okay, so like a, how is it? There's a proper name for this sort of thing, like a wildcard, right? So a block that you can always add to an existing combo. This is a good idea. I think I'm going to put that on the to-do list as well. Nice. Thanks. By the way, if anyone has any suggestions, I'm happy to consider everything and add it to the to-do list, so feel free, guys. Okay, right. This will make the particle spawn for every 10th block, I presume. Or maybe they won't. Why is that? Let me just open the debugger and make sure that the blocks spawned variable is actually something very close to the, or not very close, exactly the same amount of blocks that spawn at the beginning. So where was I? Okay, block spawned is 72, which is correct because there are 72 blocks in the beginning. So this is fine, but this part is for some reason not working correctly. I'm going to add a little browser log stuff. Turning block into a power-up. And if I run the game right now, I should be able to read a couple messages. So yeah, it does it 7 times, which is correct. But for some reason, I don't see the particle emitter, which is weird. But not that weird, because I forgot to dynamically put the particles in a family, not a family, a hierarchy with the block. So this just means that the particle emitters are created somewhere on the top of the screen, off screen probably, so somewhere here, and you don't see them. So this just means that I forgot something, and that something is block, add child, and particles. And I want the position of the blocks, the block's position to synchronize with the child's position. So this should be turned on. These I don't really need. So yeah, this could be the fix for the issue. Okay, so now some blocks actually are power-ups, and they form a nice little diagonal because yeah, it is not randomized at all, but this is fine. For the beginning, I probably don't want any power-ups on the first screen anyway, so I'm just going to make a higher number go here, and this should fix it. Right. So for now, I'm actually going to say power-up spawn frequency, I'm going to set to 80. And if I run the game now and start removing blocks, at one point a power-up should spawn, and now it's actually there. Okay, there's some additional sussiness. The particle emitter didn't get destroyed. Did not get destroyed, sorry. And this is because I forgot this. So destroy with parent, if it's turned on, then the particle emitter as a child of the block object will be destroyed once the block object is destroyed. Ranger also says, wonder if having a multicolored block that shifts colors would be interesting. Then you have time to, then you have to time when you match it with other blocks of that color. This is interesting as well. So the block should probably show some effect as well, which will hopefully also tell the player that it's going to change color at one point. Okay. Is this correct? Did I understand this correctly, Ranger? So blocks that change their colors every n seconds. I don't know why I said X, but yeah, whatever. It's the same. Yeah, good. That's cool. Thanks for the suggestion. Also, iHeart said, what if there were two types of multicolor blocks? One that is, one that is all the colors at once, like a rainbow, and that's the white card. And on the changes, color every second, and this one is timed. Okay, I got lost, but I'm going to reread that, sorry. Haptic feedback, also a good suggestion. Definitely. This should be easy, I think. I'm guessing that you want haptic feedback for the selection, so little vibrations when you start selecting stuff and you add blocks, and then like a bigger one for when you make a combo, I guess. But do let me know if you have a concrete suggestion for this. So let me just reread your other suggestions. So two types of multicolor blocks. One that is all the colors at once, like a rainbow, and that's the white card. So this is the original idea by Flavius, I guess. And on the changes color every second, one is timed. Okay. But this is am I missing something? Is this the same as the one that Granger suggested, or is this like a color that flips between the multicolored mode and the color changing mode or something? Sorry if I'm being thick, but I'm not quite sure if I understand it correctly. Right. Okay. Definitely. But these should be two different blocks, or are you suggesting that it should be one block, but it should, change between these two special, I don't know, behaviors? Two different blocks, different abilities. Okay, that's cool. Okay, and in terms of the haptic feedback, so you want haptic feedback for adding blocks, like tiny ones, and the bigger one for the combos, or something else? Or maybe the first one is a bit too much, I don't know. Also, I'm going to look up how this is OBS, so how I do haptic feedback, because I did it once, I think, for a game, but I'm not quite sure if I have to use this touch object or something else. Okay, probably something else. I'm going to look for the solution in the docs. Maybe it's the browser object that does this. Yep, indeed. Tiny for heading, big for combos. Nice. Okay, then I think we had the same idea. I just had no idea that I should add haptic feedback, even though I am making a freaking game for mobile phones. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but thanks for the suggestion. Super useful. And I think I'm going to do that next probably, because it should be fairly easy, because I just need to tell the engine how long the vibrations should last, and that's about it. So, okay, I need the browser object, which is already in my game, and this has the interface that is used for the vibration thing. So, okay, for now I'm going to disable this and make a little bookmark right here, so I'll get back to the power-up stuff, and I will make the haptic feedback, make a new build, and you guys can, if you have the time, of course, only, but you guys can maybe check it out and see if the vibration is too much, not enough, not long enough, or too short or something. So yeah, I'm just going to do that right now. So the on selection start stuff is happening right here. This is device selection part. This is where I probably add some blocks, but I'm just going to do the easy thing and see where I call this custom action called add block. Okay, I call it in a couple places. Okay, so this is where I call it for the first selection, so when you begin one. This is where I call it for a non-diagonal selection, so just a normal one. This is where I call it for the diagonal selection. So essentially what I need to do is just add an action for the add block custom action that makes this vibration stuff happen. So the question is, how long should I make the first one? I'm guessing 50 might be possibly a good amount, not so sure, we'll find out. And when the match is finished, yeah, this is the part. So on selection end, and this is where I actually do the whole block removal after a combo. So this is where I'm going to put something like 150, 200, I don't know. Let's just say 200. And this is just one vibration for 200 milliseconds, but we could probably also do some sort of pattern, possibly, if this is not sufficient. Okay, I'm just going to create a new build, call it 21. Or no, I'm just going to call it 20C, because this is just a tiny change. I'm going to push the new version on itch, and I'm going to check it out. And if you guys feel like checking it out, you can absolutely do so by using the link on the video, or you can just click the link that the bot just wrote. Okay, so I'm gonna push the build to itch. Sorry, I missed, I heard you said I must run now to eat. Thanks for streaming. It was cool to see you. What am I up to? This is nice. Thank you so much for popping in, and enjoy your food. Bon appetit. And I hope to see you again sometime, either here or in a different stream. So, yeah, this is where we are. We'll check it. Need to grab my phone. Take your time, please. And thank you so much. Okay, so I'm just going to... I only updated it on itch. Okay, this is fine. I'm just going to open the itch version on my phone, because I do have a separate server where I push new versions of the games as well, usually. But right now I only push this game to the itch page. I hope that there won't be an issue with permissions or something. like an iframe doing vibrations in your phone and stuff. I don't know if this is allowed by default, but we'll find out pretty soon, I guess. So yeah, the game is loading for the first time on my phone. It's probably not really visible on the camera, but never mind. Okay, so I'm running it. It switched to full screen. And let's check it out. Okay, so it's pretty good, I think. The selection vibrations are quite small ones, but I think this is all right. And the combo is a bigger one. And there is no correlation between the length of the combo and the vibration, but I think this is all right. I don't want to do something that is overkill. Okay, so you guys can check it out. Feel free to let me know if you think something should be changed with the vibrations. But yeah, this was a quite easy implementation thanks to Construct, and thanks iHeart for the suggestion. This was a great one. Boom. Okay, so right. For good measure, I'm going to refactor this just a little bit. I'm going to move the numbers to constants, so it's easier for me to change it, and I don't have to go through all the code and stuff. So, the big question is how should I name it? But yeah, I'm going to just make a little comment, haptic feedback, and name the constants accordingly. Haptic feedback length and selection is 1, and I presume it was 50 if I recall correctly. And for the match or combo, I'm not sure if I use these words consistently in the code anyway, so it was 200. So I'm just going to look for, oops, I can't type. So here are the vibrations. 200 is now replaced. What? Oh yeah, this is a number, and this needs to be a string because of the pattern stuff, because I can separate like these intervals with spaces or something. So I'm just going to convert this to a string. And also right here, I am going to change this. So it was 50. Good. I don't like using magic numbers usually in the code, so I just create a constant that stores the number, so it's easier to change it if I want to change it at any one point. Okay, now I'm really going to create a new version of the project, and I'm going to call it build 21, and I'm going to save it. Also, I need to take like a 2-minute bio break, so I will be right back, and definitely not away for 15 minutes or something. I just need to run to the bathroom, so BRB. And I am already back. I changed the lighting setup a little bit by removing some curtains. So, okay. Whoops, this is still OBS, sorry for that. Okay, so beginning with build 21, I want to have this combo system up and running. So I'm just going to go back to the bookmark that I left behind. What is the other one? Okay, I don't need this anymore, I think. Okay, so this is the part where I spawn some different looking blocks with the little particle emitters. Right there, okay. I'm already considering changing the color of this, although I really don't want to spend too much time customizing the look of this particle emitter stuff, because this is not too interesting anyway, and I'm crap at this, so I would rather listen to Tibor or someone who actually knows their shit when it comes to visuals. So yeah, I'm just going to change the color to black to see how it looks, and it probably looks worse, but I'm going to check it out anyway. Yeah, it looks different. I don't know which one's a better one, but I'm going to leave it like this for now. Not getting any haptic on my phone. Might be the settings. Is it an Android phone or an iPhone? This is the biggest question, I think. Ranger, if you let me know. You don't have to go into specifics, but the type of operating system and the browser I might be able to, look into if it's something specific. I'm using an Android phone. It's a crappy Samsung phone, and I'm using Chrome. And using Chrome, it was working for me, but it's quite possible that some browsers don't allow haptic feedback in some situations. So Android and browser is Firefox. I'm just going to check that because I also have Firefox on my phone. Actually, I use Firefox on my phone almost exclusively, except when it comes to playing games, because for one thing, I think most people use Chrome anyway, and Chrome and Chromium-based browsers usually have better performance with, this Canvas and WebGL stuff. So, yeah. Let me just check. I wouldn't be surprised if Firefox didn't allow haptic feedback. The question is it related to the fact that the game is running in iframe? Yeah, it's the same for me. Thank you for reporting. Definitely no haptic feedback. I'm just going to quickly try something. So, okay, so this is where I use Butler to push the build to itch, and I also have a little script that pushes the game to a different server at play.lasermagnet.com. So I'm going to check if running the game directly and not in an iframe, because in the itch.io page the game is running inside an iframe, and on the other site or the other server I just upload it directly. There is no iframe, so it might be possible that that version is making the haptic feedback work as well. So I'm just going to push the current build to both servers, and I'm going to try the other version, and if it works I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can try it as well. No cigar. Okay, so the audio is definitely playing, which is also something that browsers only allow after a user interaction, usually, but there is no haptic feedback, which is sad. No haptic feedback or for the selection or the combo either. So yeah, now it's a good question if this is something that I have to request, or wait a second. Did it finish? Did I play the latest version? Let me try again, sorry. Oh no, I was using an old version, so it's still showing build 18E on my phone. I'm just going to refresh it. The script probably didn't finish when I opened up the game. Okay, so now it's showing 20C. Drum roll, please. And no, still no haptic feedback in Firefox. Damn it. Well, yeah, this happens. Yeah. I'm going to make note of this, and I will get back to this situation a bit later, possibly off stream. I'm going to create a little list called bugs, and Granger kindly reported that haptic feedback is not working in Firefox for Android. I'll check it out. Thanks. Right. It was running great in Firefox. It was a little choppy for me actually, but yeah, you probably have a better phone than I have, because it was definitely not 60 FPS on my phone. Although this might also have to do with the fact that I usually have the power saving mode or whatever it's called turned on, which also limits the amount of CPU cycles that the apps get, so maybe. But in general, I find that in Firefox you get a worse performance compared to Chromium-based stuff like Google Chrome. for these web games anyway. So some sites might actually perform better in Firefox, but okay. So I am going to get back to this power-up stuff, and also I need to define different types of power-ups. So I will probably need some macros, and I have to assign the power-up type to the block. So for this, I'm going to create some macros, because right now we already have two special power-ups, essentially. I mean, the mechanics are there. One is called diagonal selection, and the other one is called match last only selection, which is a horrible name, but yeah, I know what it means, so it's fine. We might need to come up with a proper name for this, because we will probably want to display the power-up, the type of power-up for the player anyway, so yeah. I'm just going to create two macros for now. Power-up types. I'm going to use the prefix pt, which stands for power-up type. And diagonal matching will be the first one. It's a string, it has the same value as this. And also I'm going to do the same for the last only matching. This is not great either, but it's a little shorter than the other. I'm going to rename this variable, and one of the great things about construct is that you can just rename any freaking variable at any one point, and the refactoring happens automatically. For variable names, for constant names, for object names, you can change these whenever, which is great because I usually come up with terrible names at first, and then my OCD takes over and I want to change everything. So yeah, construct makes this stuff really easy, thankfully. Okay, so these are ready to go, the power-up types. What I will also need is some sort of timer, and also I have to come up with the time amount for how long the power-up will be enabled after activation. So these I'm probably going to store in a constant as well for now. I'm going to create a little comment, power-ups, and create two constants, or just one constant, I don't know. Power-up time, I guess. I mean, it's not very creative, but yeah. So this is the amount of time that I want the game to activate a power-up for. For now, I'm going to say 20 seconds. And I'm going to make this a constant, but then again, this is something that I might change later. Not just the value, but the fact that it's constant. And yeah, I guess this is all right for now. I also need to use some timers, of course. Now, construct has these timer tags, so I guess I could probably use the macros that I just created for the power-up types as the timer tags as well. So this should be fine. And timers need to run on a object instance. And for this, I usually just use this little global timer object, which is off-screen, invisible, it does nothing. And it should be global. I don't know why it wasn't ticked, but yeah, never mind. It doesn't really matter at this point. But yeah, so this just has the timer behavior, and this means that I can just start timers on this object at any one point. So yeah, I'm going to do that. But first I need to assign a power-up type to the block. And for this, I of course need an instance variable for a block. So it should just say power-up type. And it should be a string. It should be empty by default, which means that the block is not a power-up. And for now, I'm going to choose the easy thing and just do something like block set value power-up type, and I'm going to use the system expression choose, which just accepts any number of parameters and returns one of them at random. So I'm going to say pt diagonal matching and pt last only matching. And I should probably do some preliminary differentiation between the visual effect, so I can actually distinguish if it's if this block is a diagonal matching power-up or the last only matching power-up. Yeah, maybe a different color or something. I don't know. I'm going to just do something temporarily. So I'm going to check the variable power-up type, and if it's a pt diagonal matching type, then the color of the block, not the color of the block, but the color of the particle emitter should change to something else. So set color, and I'm going to say maybe it should be black and white, so it should look all right on the colorful blocks anyway. So for diagonal matching, I'm going to go with the black one, and for diagonal matching, I'm going to go with the white one. RGBX is a system expression in construct that can turn a color value into an integer, but the trick thing is that this uses a 100 scale and not a 255 scale, but there's also RGBX 255, which does exactly what you think it does. But yeah, this is just black and this is white. For testing purposes, this should suffice. But I need to change this. So pt diagonal matching is the black one and last only matching is the white one. Two nerdy nerds. War 1 equals to what? Don't let Beaks see that stuff. Welcome in, by the way. You guys are actually starting soon, right? Oh, Granger, also you mentioned that you have a Pixel 8 Pro. Okay, so that's quite a beefy one, I think. That's reassuring that the Firefox browser runs it all right on your phone. I'm gonna check if this power limiting feature is actually the stuff causing the issue on Firefox, although I don't really care about Firefox on Android, to be honest. I mean, I want the game to be playable, but if it has performance issues, then yeah, I can just say, hey, please play this game on a Chromium-based browser. Okay, right, so I think the power-up type assignment is now complete. It should have some visual feedback as well, which will not look great at the moment, but it will look differently, which is fine for now. And now I need to make sure that the power-ups are actually activated. So this should happen when a selection is finished and there are blocks to remove. And I need to find if some of the blocks were power-ups in the selection. So this is where I check for removable blocks. If there are at least 2 blocks selected, then they should be removed. And this is probably the part where I need to check for blocks that actually have this power-up type set. So I'm going to just say block variable power-up type and pt diagonal matching. So if even just one block in the selection had the diagonal matching power-up type set, then yeah, something should happen. And similarly, I need to check for the other power-up type, which is last only matching. And in this case, I need to start a different timer and set a different variable. But it will be very similar. So yeah, okay, so if diagonal matching should be enabled, I just change the value of power-up diagonal selection to 1, which I'm going to say, so I use, instead of Boolean variables, Boolean types, I use just numbers. And I have these 2 macros, no and yes set up. No stands for 0 and yes stands for 1. So this enables the diagonal selection stuff, and this should enable the other one, the last only matching power-up. And I should also start 2 timers or just one timer for each case. And I'm going to use global timer for this. I'm going to say start timer, and the duration should be power up time. It should be a one-off timer. If it's already running, then starting a new timer will actually restart that same type of timer, the timer with the same tag. So I'm just going to say PT diagonal matching, or I can even be even more concise and say block.powerup-type, and just copy this right here. So this should start the timer. Now, when the timer ends, we need to clear the variables. So I just need to grab my eTimers event sheet and say global timer on timer, no, it's not a timer, sorry, PT diagonal matching, because I'm reusing the macro for a timer tag as well, which is not something that I usually do, but this is fine for now, I think. So when the diagonal matching timer is up, then I should just set value of power up, whoops, I can't type, power up diagonal selection to no. And similarly, I need to do the same thing for PT last only matching and set the other variable to no. I think this could work, possibly. I also want to give some sort of feedback for the player so that they know that the diagonal matching power up is still active, or the other one. Meanwhile, I'm going to check chat because I always almost forget this stuff. So just having some lunch and enjoying some Foodmeister. I thought it was Foodmeister, like some TV show or something about food. Sorry, but you're referring to me. That's kind of you. Thank you. And bon appetit if you're still eating. Carb-free refill time. I might need to do something similar as well, Granger. Good suggestion. Meanwhile, I'll just drink some water, or some water, if that's what you prefer. Okay. So, okay, the feedback stuff I still want to do. So we have this little text object on the UI that just says keep playing, which is crap, but I wanted to add something on top of the health bar that gives the player some sort of instruction, which is a fairly stupid one, but never mind. So I think this role is not even defined as a macro, not yet anyway. No, it's not. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use this text object to communicate some stuff to the player regarding the power-ups. For now. Once again, this is just a temporary solution. Oops, tongue twister. Okay, this should be a string. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to create a custom action, very similar to this one, but it will not need any parameters. So I'm just going to clear these actions. And instead of updating the message, the text object with the message role, I'm going to update the one with this state verbal role. I don't know why I came up with this title, but it's horrible. Never mind. So show power up state, and I think I'm just going to change the macro name as well. So power up state, boom. And I need to change the instance variable as well. This is not refactored automatically because construct doesn't know that I'm doing this sort of thing, but yeah. Okay, so power up state. And right here, I just want to check which power-ups are turned on and show a little text accordingly. So if the power-up diagonal selection is turned on, so if it's yes, and similarly, if the other one is turned on, I want to add something to a string, which I'm going to show in the end in this text instance, text object instance. So I'm going to create a local variable. I'm not going to need these parameters, so I'm just going to create a local variable right here called text. And in the end, I'm going to set the text contents of the power-up state instance to whatever is in this text variable. And right here, I'm just going to add something, which concatenation to be exact, but add also works as a system action. So for text, I'm going to add diagonal selection and a little space, a sneaky space. And also I am going to, yeah, this is really crap, but this is going to actually give some temporary feedback until we think of a better way to show the power up. It will probably be an icon in the end or something. So add diagonal selection, yeah, and how am I going to come up with a short title for this one? The average goob is here. Holy crap. Thanks for popping in. Ooh, I missed a bunch of stuff in chat. Yeah, everyone's almost here, I guess. Yeah. Most of the cool kids, indeed, indeed. You are all super cool. Thanks for sticking around, folks. I'm in here actually, but yeah, I was distracted by my own programming. Yeah, Goob, you mentioned that you actually used Construct. Did you use Construct 3 or did you use Construct back when it was only version 2? Construct 2, yeah. Quite a bit of changes, I think, have happened since then. I mean, the core concept is the same, but the UI and also a bunch of behaviors and stuff like this changed, I think, because I actually haven't used Construct 2, but I hear a bunch of people not moaning per se, but yeah, missing some stuff from Construct 2 in the semi-official Construct community Discord. So yeah. Also, Construct 2 was a proper application that you could install on your machine, and this thing is just running in the browser as a progressive web application. So this whole thing is running in Chromium, including the editor and the games that you make with it. So it's completely web-based. So match by, okay, I'm just going to say something and move on because the nerds are almost starting. I want to finish my stream very soon. Easy matching, and I'm going to look for a little trademark symbol. Yeah, this is silly enough. Okay. Yeah. To do this properly, I'm just going to leave this for myself, for old Foddy. Okay, and I need to call this once a power-up state has changed. So either when I'm turning on a power-up or when a power-up is turned off. So the turn off stuff is actually happening right here. I'm going to say text and something power-up, okay, boom. And also when I'm turning on the power-ups, it was somewhere here. No, this is the initialization. I forgot to put a bookmark in the other place, but this is fine. So yeah, this is where I turn on the power-ups. So I'm also going to call this little function or custom action that updates the UI. And for now, I'm just going to clear this. Okay, I think this is all right. It should work. For testing purposes, I'm going to reduce the number that determines how frequently the power-ups should spawn. Also, I'm going to move this right here because this is more of a power-up related rule and not related to blocks. Okay, so this is 80 at the moment. I'm going to reduce it to 10 and see how it looks. Also checking chat. Sorry, folks. Streamer devs, except for you, Flavius. You should start streaming, dude. You talked about this thing, right? you have plans. Also, we need to pressure Mice into streaming as well, because she wanted to start as well. I mean, by pressure, I'm not making literal, I don't mean it literally, but, you know, nudge her to start streaming and stop procrastinating like I always do as well. They always do that when they make new engines though. Yeah, same thing happened to me when I went from GameMaker 1.2 to 2. Holy crap, you've been using GameMaker for some time. I listened to the guys Butterscotch Shenanigans. I don't know if you guys know them. They are not too big in the game studio, but they are quite successful, and they are big fans of GameMaker as well. And yeah, they did this whole change at one point, and they have a little podcast that is super funny, and it's mostly about game development, but it's also a comedy podcast per se. Never mind. So they talk about making the change from GameMaker 1 to 2, and yeah, it was intense. But they are totally in love with GameMaker, so I don't think they're ever going to change engines. But it was a big change as well, and a bunch of stuff needed to be rewritten and re-implemented. Flavius is streamer dev by proximity, definitely. The omnipresent Flavius. The streamer supporter, definitely. I can second that. I mean, Flavius already made suggestions that have made their way into the game, like diagonal matching, which I'm just finishing up right now. It's already working, but the power-up that enables it is something that I just implemented, and I'm going to test it in a second, but I'm just going to check on chat and catch up with everything you guys wrote. I was supposed to start streaming when I started. Yeah. I mean, Granger, you just started like a couple months ago? It was something like that, right? But I saw that Mai's already set up her Twitch about page and stuff like this, so I'm pretty sure that she has like intentions, but she probably doesn't have the time or something to get started. It's not easy to take the plunge and start something like this. I mean, for me, it was quite hard anyway. Goob, you used GameMaker 8.1? What? It was like the completely different version before 1.0 or something. And RPG Maker XP, oof, that takes me back. Flavius, you plan to start streaming in January, hopefully. You don't know, you shouldn't change your mind. I mean, look at us. We are alright. We didn't die streaming or anything. And yeah, you just need to not overthink it and just start. I'm sure that you'll do fine, and we will lurk in chat all the time. You can take that as granted. Definitely, we support you, Flavius. Go for it. I would love to see some art streams as well, because your art skills have, like, I don't know, multiplied during the last few months. It's really, really freaking cool what you're doing with the pixel art thing. So looking at the old assets of Mushroom Ninja and the new ones are like something that was made by a completely different person. It's amazing. Okay, I am going to check this feature, by the way, so I can push a new build, and I'm going to wrap up soon because I do want to check on the nerds and before I get streamer brain anyway. So, okay, so this is where I activate my first power up, and the black one is the one that allows diagonal selection. Oh, also one thing, I think I forgot to turn off the, yeah, these. So they were on by default, but now I'm going to turn these off. And if I start the game now, I'm not allowed to do diagonal selection, and I'm not allowed to do the lenient selection. So right now I can't do diagonal ones, but if I activate this power up, hopefully like this, then it will actually allow me to do diagonals. If I can find a good candidate for that. Yeah. Okay, so now diagonal selection is happening. It's written on the top. I mean, it's not great that this is the UI for it, but for now, it's just diagonal selection. Easy matching is also now turned on, and soon diagonal selection should be turned off. So this is something that I can still do. I'm going to wait for a bit. Yeah, okay, so now diagonal selection is turned off and I can no longer do this. And easy matching is something that was suggested by Mize, who we were just talking about. Let me just restart the game. So easy matching is the terminology that I came up with, but it will probably be changed to something else. It's the more lenient selection logic, which just requires you to select a block that has the same shape or the same color as the last one and not the whole selection. So you can start something like this. And okay, this is not a great example. I'm going to look for one. Okay, so you can do something like damn it. Like this, and then move here, for example, because this is the same color as the last one. And right now it's not allowed, because if it's a multicolor selection, then you have to go and do the whole symbol-based selection right now. So I'm just going to activate the power-up right here and also activate this. This is the power-up that I was actually talking about. And now I can do the more lenient selection and the diagonal one as well. So I think this is working, which is great. And this probably makes the game way too easy at this point, but I'm not going to bother with balancing, not on stream anyway. I'm just going to push a version of the game on itch and wrap up. And I am going to rate the nerds per usual, because I really want to see how they are doing, because they are nearing the completion of their game, Super Cat Cafe Sandwich Rush, and it's going to release on Steam on Monday, which is exciting. So yeah, okay. I think this is fine for now. The UI is not great, but it works. I noticed one more little issue, I think, with the particle emitter, but I'm not going to bother with that either. Or maybe, yeah. Maybe I will bother with it. Just a tiny thing. It looked a little sussy that it just disappeared with all the particles showing. And instead of that, I think I want to do something different. So I want the particle emitter to finish up. Basically, I just want it to stop spawning new particles. And once all the particles are destroyed, I want the particle emitter to be destroyed as well. Once it's no longer visible. No particles are visible. So, okay, I'm just going to finish this quickly and then I'm going to rate the nerds. Have you given a thought about multicolor block to change from one color to another? Yes, and the thought is that I'm definitely going to do that. So my to-do list is roughly the same size as when I started, but I did do some stuff, but you guys came up with some great suggestions, so I added a few things. So you suggested, Flav, use this multicolored block, which is just the jackpot or the white card block. And Granger suggested the block that changes colors from time to time. I'm going to implement both of these, but not today, but probably next week sometime. It's possible that I'm not going to implement it on stream, but in this case, I will probably nudge you guys so you can check out the ideas that you suggested come to life in the new version. But it's also possible that I'm going to stream tomorrow morning, I mean in my local time, but I'm not so sure. Depends on a few factors. I can't really make any promises right now. So timer, okay. I'm just going to create a macro that's called timer destroy, and this will be a generic timer. I will probably need to use it a couple of times anyway. So this is something that I use if I want something to be destroyed with a little extra delay. So for this, I'm going to create a timer behavior. I mean, add the timer behavior on top of the particle emitter. So that's done. And what I want to do is to check when the destroy timer of a particle emitter is up. So on timer destroy, and in this case, I want the particle emitter to be destroyed. So I won't destroy the particle emitter right away. Right now, it's I don't really give the destroy action for it anyway, but since we are spawning the particle emitter on a block, if it's a power-up block, I'm adding the particle emitter as a child instance to the block, and I also have this little destroy with parent checkbox checked in. So now if I remove this, then this means that when the block is destroyed, the particle emitter is no longer destroyed, which is all right. So what I need to do is when a block is destroyed, or maybe even a little before that, I want the particle emitter to stop emitting new particles. So this should be somewhere here, probably. Okay, so when a selection ends and there are blocks to be removed, I'm checking if even just one of the blocks were power-ups. And if they were, I also need to grab their particle emitter children object instances. So I'm going to say block, pick children, and it's called particle. And for all these particle emitters, I want the rate to be set to 0, so they don't spawn any new particles. And I also want to start a timer. Particles, sorry, this is the correct pronunciation, of course. Start timer. The duration should be, I don't know if I can access the properties of the particle emitter. Particle something. Where is the length that the particles are actually showing? Timeout. I'm guessing this is the one. So I want to start a timer to start that has the same length as the particle timer. So even if just one particle starts spawning at this point, the timer will run through the last particle's lifetime. And then I'm just going to say, whoops, timer destroy. Yeah, this is not great, but I'm just going to copy this right here. I should probably restructure this thing a little bit so I don't repeat myself, but now I do. That's fine. So when a block, which was a power-up, is about to be removed, I'm stopping the particle emitter right now, right away, I mean, even before the extra animation stuff, and I'm also destroying it after a while. So let me just check how it looks. Yeah, these look a little sussy, but the power-up blocks won't spawn on the first screen anyway. I'm just going to make sure that's also done. Okay, so I remove these, and then I remove these. Okay, I think it's all right. It looks a little better because the particle emitter doesn't turn invisible so abruptly. The particles actually stay for a while and then they are destroyed after they reach their lifetime, or timeout, or whatever it was called. Okay, I think this is okay for now. Anyway, did I have any to-dos? I definitely did, a couple. Never mind, we're not going to look at those. Hey, Moth, thanks for joining. I thought that easy selection was core mechanic when I first opened the game. Yeah, the game doesn't really do a good job at explaining how the whole selection stuff works. So yeah, you are right about that, absolutely. We are going to make some sort of more clear communication, either on the menu screen or something, or I don't know, maybe add a little tutorial at one point, possibly. I do have a to-do item that just says better menu screen with visuals and instructions, because right now there are no instructions, so the whole matching logic is not communicated clearly. And also, if you get much more feedback that that is the same as yours, that you would expect the selection to be allowed just if the symbol or color is matching between the last two blocks, then maybe we just go with that by default. I don't know. Yeah, but thanks for the feedback anyway, it's much appreciated. Okay, so I think hopefully I didn't leave too many bugs, not new ones anyway. I'm just going to create a new build. Let me check if the current one is 21, if I forgot to increase it or something, or it was still 20. Okay, so the current version is, okay, still 20, good. Which means that I will just push the build 21 on itch and call it a day for now. Ooh, also I'm sitting in the dark. Whoops. Okay, yeah, I think I'm just going to update the proper version as well, even though it's a little even sussier than the usual. The game has a separate itch page as well, so this stream game itch page is what I use for these builds that I make during stream, but also the game has this proper itch IO page as well. Is this one, I think. So I'm going to update the version that is here as well. This is still version 18, which was the last version before I started streaming. So yeah, let me just run the script. If I can manage a double click. And this should already be up, hopefully. Or maybe not. Okay, now it's refreshing, which is refreshing. And also this version is getting an update as well. I'm going to make a changelog or a devlog a bit later, but this will happen off stream, of course, because I'm going to wrap up right about now. I'm just going to test the game quickly to make sure that it's not completely broken or something. And if it's not, then I'm going to wrap up. So, okay, this is just a normal, oh crap, I forgot to change it's a good thing I tested it. So I forgot to restore this number, which determines how frequently power-ups spawn to something higher. So, yeah, the spawn frequency is now 10. So at the beginning, 72 blocks spawn on the field. So I'm just going to say, I don't know, 100. Why not? So for every 100 block, you get a power-up. And there's a 50% chance that it's the diagonal one or the easy selection one. So yeah, let me just do this again. Build 21B, because I forgot something. Okay. So while the update is running, I would like to just say thank you to everyone who was here. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for saying hi. I appreciate you guys a lot, and especially thank you for everyone who had suggestions. I think it was Granger, Flavius, and iHeart. I hope I'm not missing anyone, but yeah, my brain is not great at memorizing this sort of thing. So thank you everyone for sticking around and checking in with my little stream. I hope you guys will have a wonderful day, and I'm going to set up a little raid because the nerds have probably started by now, and they are actually my favorite streamer on Twitch. So they are finishing up their Cat Cafe game, and they are going to release it on Monday. But I'm pretty sure that everyone who's listening to me talking about them already knows them. So yeah, let me just set up the raid and finish for today. And if anyone would like to check in with me a bit later, there's a chance that I'm going to stream tomorrow as well. It's probably going to happen between 9 and 10 a.m. Central European time. So, you know, almost the London time, but just an hour after that or before that. Yeah, after that. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up now, set up the raid, and thanks again for everyone who was here. I appreciate you. Bye-bye now.